narrative.
I was reviewing quarterly reports when my phone started buzzing. Notifications everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, all from my wife's accounts. The headline stopped me cold. Our daughter's dream wedding yesterday. Yesterday? What wedding? I opened Instagram. 200 photos. My daughter Daisy in a white dress, smiling next to some guy I'd never met. My wife in an expensive outfit. Tables with flowers. Massive venue with chandeliers, live band. I scrolled slowly. My brother-in-law Harrison giving a toast. My sister Dorothy laughing with her husband. Extended family. Neighborhood friends. 300 people easily. Nobody had mentioned this. Not one person. Daisy had been dodging my calls for 2 months. My wife had been cold, distant. When I asked what was wrong, she'd say wedding planning. Got irritated when I asked details. I checked my messages. 3 weeks ago, I'd texted Daisy about dates so I could request time off. Seen. No response. Called. Voicemail. Messaged my wife for an update. Everything's handled. Don't worry about it. My coworker Philip walked by. You good? You look awful. Just found out my daughter got married yesterday. He stopped. Wait, what? You didn't go? Didn't know it was happening. That's messed up, man. It was. The cake alone probably cost $2,000. The flowers, venue, catering. This wasn't a courthouse wedding. Easily $50,000, maybe more. 4 months ago, my wife mentioned wedding costs over dinner. Said Daisy wanted something nice. We should budget around $50,000. I said we could make it work, asked when we'd plan it. She waved me off, said she'd handle details, that I should just make sure we had the money ready. I'd assumed I'd be involved. Walk my daughter down the aisle. At least know when it was happening. Bad assumptions. I scrolled to the comments. Hundreds. So beautiful. What a perfect day. I sat there thinking. I could call right now, demand answers, make a scene, or something else. I clicked on the first photo. Daisy and her new husband cutting cake. I tapped the heart emoji. Just one. Put my phone down, went back to my reports. My phone buzzed immediately. My wife, probably seeing my like and panicking. I didn't check. Whatever she had to say could wait. Philip came back with coffee. So what are you going to do? Right now? Finish these reports. After that, make some calls. To your wife. To my lawyer. He nodded. Yeah, makes sense. I spent the afternoon working like nothing happened. Because nothing had. Not to me. I wasn't at a wedding. I wasn't celebrating. I was exactly where I'd been yesterday. At my desk, doing my job, completely unaware my family decided I wasn't worth including. The question in my head wasn't anger. It was simpler. If they could plan an entire wedding, invite 300 people, and forget to mention it to me, what else had they decided I didn't need to know? My phone kept buzzing. I turned it face down. Whatever panic was happening wasn't my problem. Not yet. When I left work, 17 missed calls, 43 texts. I didn't read them. Stopped by my attorney's office instead. Dennis had handled contract work for me before. Good guy, straightforward. His secretary said he'd left for the day, but I could schedule tomorrow morning. I booked the first slot. Then I drove home. The same home I'd been paying the mortgage on for 15 years. Empty. My wife's car wasn't there. Neither was Daisy's. Quiet. I microwaved leftovers. Sat at the kitchen table alone. Looked at my phone once more. All those messages were the same panic. Where are you? Why aren't you answering? We need to talk. This isn't funny. I sent one message back. Saw the wedding photos. Looked nice. Glad everyone had fun. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. Tomorrow would be interesting. Tonight, I had clarity for the first time in months. I knew exactly what I needed to do, and nobody was going to tell me I didn't need to know about it. The next morning, I met Dennis at 8. Showed him the Instagram album, blocked messages. They planned a wedding, excluded you, but assumed you'd pay? That's right. Joint checking, savings, mortgage. Both our names, but I'd been the primary earner for 20 years. We'll separate finances immediately. New account, redirect paycheck. Leave enough for your half of expenses. What about wedding expenses? Did you sign contracts? No. Didn't know there was a wedding. He smiled. Then you're not obligated. By noon, new account. By 2, paycheck redirected. By 3, transferred my half. Everything documented. My phone stayed off 3 days. Philip noticed I was staying late. Avoiding home. Wife took off after the wedding. Day 4, I turned my phone on. 217 messages. 63 calls. Sent 1 text. I'll be home Thursday evening if you want to talk. Come alone. Thursday came. Her car was in the driveway. She sat at the kitchen table, arms crossed. 3 days. You ignored me. I had things to handle. Our daughter just got married. I heard. Looked expensive. Her face went red. You liked one photo. One. Do you know how that looked? What did you tell people? That you were working. Couldn't get time off. I never asked for time off. She stood. Don't make this difficult. I'm trying to understand how my daughter got married and nobody told me when or where. I told you we were planning a wedding. You said you were handling details. Never told me when. You should have figured it out. Figured it out how? She didn't answer. You planned this, I said. Wanted me excluded. Told everyone I'd agreed, that I'd still pay. Used me as a bank account while cutting me out as a father. That's not what happened. Then tell me. Her voice got quieter. Daisy didn't want drama. Worried you'd make a scene. About what? About her fiancé. About the cost. I never met her fiancé. I sat across from her. You excluded me because you assumed I'd cause problems. Didn't ask. Didn't talk. Just decided I was guilty. Daisy was stressed. I was protecting her. From her own father. Her hands shook. The venue payment bounced. Resort canceled the honeymoon. They need that money. There it was. $50,000. You promised. I promised to help pay for my daughter's wedding. Not fund an event I wasn't invited to. You're being petty. I'm being excluded. There's a difference. She stood, voice rising. So you're letting Daisy's marriage start with debt because your feelings are hurt. My feelings aren't hurt. My situation is clear. I'm not part of this family's decisions. You made that obvious. I don't fund events I'm not included in. You're unbelievable. I saw my lawyer. Filed for separation. You'll get the paperwork. Color drained from her face. You what? You heard me. Over one wedding. Over 20 years of this. The wedding was the final proof I'm not part of your plans. Just the funding. I walked toward the stairs. You can't leave. I'm not leaving. This is my house. I've been paying the mortgage for 15 years. You can leave if you want. I went upstairs and closed the door. Heard her crying. Heard her car start. Heard the garage door. The house was quiet. I sat on the bed. Not angry. Not sad. Exhausted from trying to be included in a family that decided I didn't belong. Tomorrow, Daisy would probably call. But tonight, the message was sent. I wasn't funding my own exclusion. Daisy showed up Friday morning. I was making coffee when I heard the doorbell. Opened it to find her standing there with her new husband. Ian, apparently. First time I'd seen him in person. Dad, we need to talk. Come in. They sat on the couch. I stayed standing, leaning against the kitchen counter with my coffee. Mom said you're refusing to pay for the wedding. That's not accurate. I'm refusing to pay for an event I wasn't invited to. Ian spoke up. Sir, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Really? What part? The part where I found out about my daughter's wedding through Instagram? Or the part where 300 people knew about it except me? Daisy's eyes were red. Mom said you knew. She said you agreed to not come to avoid causing problems. Did you ever ask me directly? She looked down. No. Mom handled everything. So you never thought it was weird that your own father didn't reach out? Didn't ask about the wedding? Didn't want to meet your fiancé? Mom said you were busy with work. I work 40 hours a week at the same job I've had for 15 years. I'm never too busy for you. When have I ever been too busy for you? She started crying. Ian put his arm around her. Look, I said, I'm not angry at you. Not really. You trusted your mother. That's normal. But here's what actually happened. Your mother wanted me excluded. She told you I'd cause drama. She told everyone else I'd agreed to skip it. She told me nothing. Then when the bills came due, she expected me to write a check for 50 grand without question. We're in debt now, Daisy said quietly. The venue is threatening to sue. The resort wants payment immediately or they're sending it to collections. How much did you sign for? $75,000 total. We put down 25 as deposit. The remaining 50 was supposed to be paid by now. I sat down across from them. Did your mother tell you she had that money? She said you both had it saved, that it was set aside for my wedding. We had about 30,000 in joint savings. I took my half, 15,000. She has her 15,000. Where's the other 35 supposed to come from? Daisy looked genuinely shocked. She said the money was there. It's not. And even if it was, I'm not paying for a wedding I wasn't included in. That's not punishment. That's basic self-respect. Ian cleared his throat. Sir, I understand you're upset, but Daisy's credit is going to be destroyed. We're starting our marriage in a hole. Then you should have asked questions before signing contracts for $75,000. That's more than most people make in a year. Did nobody think that was excessive? Mom said you could afford it. I can afford a lot of things. Doesn't mean I'm obligated to pay for them, especially when I'm deliberately excluded from the planning and the event itself. Daisy wiped her eyes. So you're really not going to help? I didn't say that. I said I'm not paying for that wedding. But here's what I will do. I'll loan you $15,000. Not give. Loan. You'll pay me back at $200 a month. No interest. That'll help with the immediate debt. 15? But we need 50. Then you need to figure out where the other 35 is coming from. Talk to your mother. She's the one who made promises about money that didn't exist. She doesn't have it. She already told me. Then she lied to you. She promised vendors you'd pay them. She promised you the money existed. She lied to everyone. And now you're expecting me to fix her lies. Ian stood up. With all due respect, sir, she's your daughter. I'm aware. I'm also aware that I wasn't good enough to walk her down the aisle. But I'm somehow good enough to be her ATM. That's not how this works. You're being selfish. I stood up too. I'm being excluded. There's a difference. You want to know what selfish looks like? Selfish is planning a $75,000 wedding and inviting 300 people, but not the bride's father. Selfish is lying to vendors, lying to family, and then demanding everyone clean up your mess. Daisy stood between us. Dad, please. I'm sorry. I should have called you. I should have asked. Mom said you were fine with everything, and I just believed her. And that's the problem, Daisy. You're 26 years old. You just signed contracts for 75 grand. But you didn't think to verify basic facts with your own father? I trusted her, and she used that trust to manipulate you into excluding me. So now you're learning an expensive lesson about trust and verification. I walked to my office and came back with my checkbook. Wrote a check for $15,000. Handed it to Daisy. This is a loan. You'll sign paperwork acknowledging the terms. $200 a month until it's paid back. If you miss a payment, I'll expect the full balance immediately. She took the check. Thank you. Don't thank me. This isn't a gift. This is me helping my daughter out of a hole she was pushed into. But I'm not filling the whole hole. Your mother dug most of it. She can help fill it. After they left, I sat back down with my coffee. It was cold now. I didn't bother reheating it. My phone buzzed. Text from my wife. Daisy said you're only giving her $15,000. You're really going to let her credit get destroyed over your pride. I replied, I'm letting her learn that actions have consequences. You promised money that didn't exist. You fix it. She called immediately. I didn't answer. The house was quiet again, exactly how I wanted it. My daughter had been used as a pawn. My wife had orchestrated the whole thing. And now everyone was learning that I wasn't the pushover they'd assumed I was. The wedding was over. The marriage was starting with debt. And I was done being the solution to problems I didn't create. The family ambush came Sunday afternoon. I was washing my car in the driveway when 3 cars pulled up. My sister Dorothy, my brother-in-law Harrison, my wife's parents, and 2 of her brothers. Great. Dorothy walked up first. We need to talk about what you're doing to Daisy. I'm not doing anything to Daisy. I'm choosing not to pay for a wedding I wasn't invited to. My father-in-law stepped forward. You're being vindictive. That girl is drowning in debt because you can't let go of your ego. My ego? I found out my daughter got married through Instagram. But sure, let's talk about my ego. Harrison crossed his arms. We all assumed you knew. Your wife said you'd agreed to everything. Then you all made the same mistake Daisy made. Nobody verified. You just assumed. And when 300 people got invited to a wedding but 1 person didn't, none of you thought that was strange. Dorothy looked uncomfortable. She said you were working that weekend. I work Monday through Friday. I haven't worked a weekend in 10 years. But nobody asked me directly. Nobody called to confirm. You all just went with whatever story she told you. My mother-in-law spoke up. She's your daughter. Family helps family. I offered her $15,000 as a loan. That's help. What I'm not doing is paying $50,000 for an event that I was deliberately excluded from. There's a difference. $15,000 isn't enough, one of my wife's brothers said. The venue is threatening legal action. Then maybe someone should have thought about that before signing contracts for $75,000 without verifying the funding actually existed. The funding did exist, Harrison said. You pulled your money out of the joint account. I pulled my half out after I was excluded from my daughter's wedding. I'm not keeping my money in a joint account with someone who's actively working against me. Dorothy put her hand on my arm. Can we talk privately? I looked at the group. Whatever you want to say it in front of everyone. I'm done with private conversations that get twisted later. She dropped her hand. Fine. You're destroying your relationship with Daisy over money. I'm protecting myself from people who think I'm just a wallet. And for the record, Daisy and I talked yesterday. She understands now that her mother lied to her. She's hurt, but not at me. That's not what your wife says. My soon-to-be ex-wife says a lot of things. Most of them aren't accurate, like how she told everyone I agreed to skip the wedding, or how she told Daisy the money was saved and ready. Both lies. My father-in-law stepped closer. You're really going through with a divorce over this? I filed for separation Tuesday. The divorce will follow, but it's not over this wedding. It's over 20 years of being treated like I'm optional. The wedding was just the most obvious example. You're going to regret this. Maybe, but I'm done being the family ATM while being excluded from family decisions. If that makes me the villain in your story, I can accept that. My mother-in-law's voice got sharp. What about Daisy's future? Her credit will be destroyed. She'll never get a mortgage, a car loan, anything. Then she'll learn a valuable lesson about signing contracts she can't afford. I'm giving her $15,000. The rest is between her, her mother, and the vendors she made agreements with. You're heartless. I'm excluded. Again, there's a difference. Harrison shook his head. I don't know who you are anymore. I'm the same person I've always been. You're just seeing me without the compliance. Turns out when you stop letting people walk over you, they don't like it much. One of my wife's brothers pulled out his phone. I'm calling Laura. She needs to hear this. Go ahead. Put it on speaker. I've got nothing to hide. He did. My wife answered. Did you talk to him? We're talking to him now. He's not budging. Of course he's not. He's being a stubborn fool. I spoke up. I'm right here, Laura. And I can't hear you. Silence on the other end. Here's what's going to happen. I continued. I've filed for separation. I'm offering Daisy a $15,000 loan with reasonable terms. The rest of the money you promised people, that's on you. You made commitments without my knowledge or agreement. You handle them. I don't have that kind of money. Then you shouldn't have promised it. You created this situation. You lied to vendors. You lied to Daisy. You lied to family. These are the consequences of your choices. Everyone's going to know about this. Everyone's going to see what kind of father you are. Actually, everyone's going to see what kind of mother and wife you are. Because I'm done keeping your secrets. You wanted to make this public with your Instagram album? Fine. Let's go public. I hung up on her. Looked at the group in my driveway. Anyone else have something to say? Dorothy shook her head slowly. I think we've said enough. Good. Then you can all leave. I've got a car to finish washing. They stood there for another minute. Nobody knew what to say. Finally, they started getting back in their cars. Dorothy was the last one. Are you sure about this? More sure than I've been about anything in years. She nodded and left. I went back to washing my car. My phone was already blowing up. Group texts, individual messages, missed calls. I ignored all of it. That evening, I did something I'd been thinking about since the wedding photos appeared. I went into Facebook, found the album my wife had posted, and left a comment. Not on the photos themselves. On the main post. Beautiful wedding. I'm glad everyone had such a wonderful time celebrating Daisy and Ian. I found out about it the same way you're seeing these photos now, through social media. After being blocked from communication and deliberately excluded, I discovered my daughter's wedding had already happened. For those asking why I wasn't there, now you know. I wasn't invited, but I was expected to pay for it anyway. Congratulations to the happy couple. I wish I could have been there to see it in person. I posted it and turned off my phone. The truth was out there now. No more secrets. No more covering for lies. Whatever came next, at least it would be honest. Monday morning, I turned my phone back on. 462 notifications. I scrolled through enough to get the general idea. My comment had exploded. Hundreds of responses. Most of them supportive. Some calling my wife out directly. A few family members trying to defend her, but getting shut down by others who were putting pieces together. Philip caught me at lunch. Dude, I saw what you posted. That's brutal. It's honest. Your wife is melting down. My girlfriend showed me her responses. She's claiming you're lying, that you knew about everything, that you're trying to destroy Daisy's reputation. Let me guess. Nobody's believing her. Not really. Too many people are asking questions she can't answer. Like why you weren't in a single photo. Why nobody saw you there. Why she blocked you from communication if you supposedly agreed to everything. I took a bite of my sandwich. Good. You're not worried about the backlash? What backlash? The truth is the truth. I was excluded. She lied about it. Now people know. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Is this Daisy's father? Speaking. This is Laura Whitaker from the Riverside venue. We've been trying to reach your wife about the outstanding balance. She's not responding to calls or emails. That's between you and her. I didn't sign any contracts with you. Sir, we were told you'd be handling the final payment. We have text messages from Mrs. Bradford confirming that. I'm sure you do, but I never agreed to anything. I wasn't even invited to the wedding. So whatever she told you, that's her problem to solve, not mine. Silence on the other end. You weren't invited to your daughter's wedding? Correct. Found out about it on Instagram after it happened. I see. We'll need to speak with your wife then. Good luck with that. I hung up. 5 minutes later, another call. The resort. Same conversation. Same outcome. By Tuesday, my wife's Facebook had gone private. The wedding album was deleted, but screenshots had already spread. People were sharing my comment in other groups. The story was getting around. Wednesday afternoon, Daisy called. Dad, Mom's having a breakdown. She's locked herself in her hotel room. Her friends are calling her fake, manipulative. Grandma isn't speaking to her. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Are you? You're the one who made it public. I told the truth publicly. Your mother made it a situation. There's a difference. People are saying horrible things about her. People are reacting to what she did. She excluded me, lied about it, promised money that didn't exist, and expected everyone to just go along with it. Actions have consequences. She's my mother, and I'm your father. The one who wasn't good enough to be at your wedding but was supposed to fund it anyway. You're upset people are being mean to her online. I'm upset I missed my daughter's wedding because of her lies. Daisy was quiet for a moment. Ian's family is asking questions too. They want to know why his father-in-law wasn't there. I don't know what to tell them. Tell them the truth. Your mother excluded me and lied about it. It's simple. It's embarrassing. It's honest. And honestly, embarrassment is temporary. Debt is long-term. How are you handling the venue and resort? We're negotiating payment plans. Ian's parents offered to help with $10,000. My loan from you covers another $15,000. We're still short, but at least it's manageable now. And your mother? She says she doesn't have any money to help. Says you took everything in the divorce. We're separated, not divorced yet. And I took my half of our joint savings. She has her half. If she spent it, that's on her. Did she spend it on the wedding? Probably. But that was her choice. She could have talked to me first. Could have been honest about the costs. Could have included me in planning. She chose not to. I think she was trying to give me the perfect day without any conflict. She gave you a day without your father and left you with $50,000 in debt. That's not perfect. That's selfish. Another pause. People keep asking me why I went along with it. Why I didn't question not having you there. What do you tell them? That I trusted Mom. That she said you were okay with it. That I didn't think to verify. And now I look naive. And Ian's family thinks I come from a dysfunctional family. You do. We are. But at least now it's out in the open. No more pretending everything's fine when it's not. She sighed. I have to go. Ian's calling. Daisy, one more thing. I love you. I'm sorry your wedding day got overshadowed by all this. But I'm not sorry for telling the truth. I know, Dad. I know. After she hung up, I sat there thinking. My wife's world was collapsing. Friends were dropping her. Family was questioning her. The perfect image she'd built on social media was destroyed. Part of me felt bad. Small part. The bigger part remembered sitting at my desk, finding out my daughter got married through Instagram. Remembered being blocked from communication. Remembered being treated like an ATM instead of a father. That part didn't feel bad at all. Thursday morning, Dennis called. Your wife's attorney reached out. They want to expedite the divorce proceedings. Why? Probably because her public image is tanking and she wants this over with. They're willing to accept a clean split. She keeps her half of savings, you keep yours. House goes to you since you've been paying the mortgage. She walks away. No fight over assets. None. I think she just wants out before it gets worse for her. Tell them yes. Let's get this done. You sure? We could probably negotiate for more. I don't want more. I want out. If she's willing to walk away clean, I'll take it. I'll draw up the papers. That afternoon, I got a text from Dorothy. Mom wants to talk to you. I called her instead. You wanted to talk? Your mother-in-law. She wants to apologize. For what specifically? For not questioning things. For believing Laura without verifying. For showing up at your house and accusing you of being vindictive. Put her on. There was shuffling. Then my mother-in-law's voice. I owe you an apology. I believed my daughter without checking facts. I'm sorry. Apology accepted. But the damage is done. My relationship with Daisy is strained. My marriage is over. And I missed one of the most important days of my daughter's life because of lies. I know. And Laura's paying the price now. Nobody's speaking to her. She's isolated. That's what happens when you manipulate everyone around you. Eventually, people figure it out. Are you happy about that? I'm not happy or sad about it. It just is. She made choices. These are the consequences. She's my daughter. I'm watching her fall apart. She's my wife. I watched her exclude me from our daughter's wedding. We all have our pain to carry. She was quiet for a moment. For what it's worth, I'm glad the truth came out. Even if it's ugly. Me too. After we hung up, I walked around my house. My house. Not our house. Mine. The separation agreement was being finalized. The divorce would follow. And then this chapter would be closed. I wasn't angry anymore. Wasn't sad. Just ready to move forward. The wedding was over. The fallout was settling. And I was still standing, with my dignity intact. That was enough. 3 months later, I signed the final divorce papers in Dennis's office. Clean split. She got her half of savings. I got the house and my retirement accounts. No alimony since we'd both been working adults. No drama. Just done. That's it, Dennis said. You're officially divorced. Fastest 3 months of my life. She didn't contest anything. That's rare. She couldn't. Too many people knew what she'd done. Fighting it would have just kept her in the spotlight longer. I left his office and drove to the house. My house. I'd already changed the locks, repainted the bedroom, rearranged furniture. It didn't feel like our place anymore. It felt like mine. Daisy had been making her loan payments. $200, first of every month, like clockwork. We'd had dinner twice since the divorce was filed. Conversations were still awkward, but getting easier. She was learning to rebuild trust. So was I? My phone rang. Daisy. Hey, Dad. Are you free Saturday? Depends. What's happening Saturday? Ian and I are having a small dinner at our apartment. Just close family. His parents. You? Dorothy if she wants to come. We're calling it our real wedding celebration. Your mother going to be there? No. This one's about the people who actually matter. I smiled. I'll be there. Ian wants to apologize to you. Properly. He says he should have asked more questions before the wedding. He was trusting his fiancée. That's normal. Tell him apology accepted. You can tell him yourself Saturday. 6 o'clock. I'll be there. After we hung up, I sat on my back porch with coffee. The yard needed mowing. The fence needed paint. Normal things. Good things. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. This is Laura. I know you don't want to hear from me. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. You deserve better. Daisy deserved better. I thought I was protecting her from conflict, but I created worse conflict instead. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand what I did was wrong. I stared at the message for a minute. Thought about responding. Thought about all the things I could say. Instead, I deleted it without replying. Some things didn't need a response. Some people didn't deserve closure on their terms. She'd have to live with what she'd done, same as everyone else. Friday afternoon, Philip stopped by my desk. You look different. Different how? I don't know. Lighter, maybe. Less tense. Divorce was finalized this week. Congratulations. That's the right response, right? I laughed. In this case, yeah, it is. You seeing anyone? Not even thinking about it. I'm good with just me right now. Fair enough. Hey, some of us are getting drinks after work. You in? Actually, yeah, I'm in. Saturday evening, I showed up at Daisy's apartment with a bottle of wine and a card. Inside the card was a check for $5,000. Not a loan, a gift, with a note, for your actual wedding celebration. The one that matters. When I handed it to her, she started crying. Dad, you didn't have to do this. I know, but I wanted to. This is what I would have done if I'd been included from the start. Better late than never. Ian shook my hand. Sir, I owe you an apology. I should have questioned why you weren't at the wedding. Should have called you directly. I was caught up in everything and didn't think. You trusted your fiancé. Nothing wrong with that. But now you know, verify important things yourself. Even with people you trust. Lesson learned. Dorothy showed up with her husband. Ian's parents were already there. 7 of us total. Small. Intimate. Honest. We ate dinner. Told stories. Laughed. Daisy showed me photos from the honeymoon they'd finally taken last month, paid for with payment plan money and help from Ian's parents. At one point, Ian's father pulled me aside. I heard what happened with the original wedding. That took guts, standing your ground like that. Didn't feel like guts. Felt like self-preservation. Either way, respect. And for what it's worth, Daisy talks about you differently now. More honestly, I think your relationship is stronger than it was before all this. Maybe. We're working on it. As I was leaving that night, Daisy walked me to my car. Dad, I know I said it before, but I'm sorry. For not calling you. For not questioning Mom. For just going along with everything. You trusted your mother. That's normal. But you learned something valuable. Trust, but verify. I did. And I'm glad you didn't just pay for everything and let it go. If you had, I'd never have learned. Expensive lesson. Worth it though. I see things clearer now. I hugged her. I love you. Always have. Always will. Even when I'm disappointed. Even when I'm hurt. That never changes. I love you too, Dad. I drove home that night feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not happiness exactly. Not relief. Just peace. My marriage was over. My relationship with Daisy was rebuilt on honesty instead of obligation. My ex-wife was dealing with the consequences of her choices. And I was moving forward without the weight of other people's lies. The house was quiet when I got home. I made tea, sat on the porch, looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, my ex-wife was probably still trying to rebuild her image. Still trying to convince people she'd been the victim. Still not understanding that the problem was never about the money. It was about respect. About inclusion. About being treated like family instead of a bank account. She'd probably never understand that. But I didn't need her to. I'd stood my ground. Set boundaries. Told the truth when it would have been easier to stay quiet. And came out the other side with my dignity intact. My daughter was paying back her loan. Making her marriage work. Learning to be independent. My ex-wife was alone with the consequences of her manipulation. And I was here. In my house. At peace. Free. The wedding was over. The marriage was over. The drama was over. And I was exactly where I needed to be. Not funding anyone's lies anymore. Not accepting anyone's manipulation anymore. Not being optional in my own life anymore. Just being me. On my own terms. That was enough. That was everything.
Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.